Good afternoon. Welcome to our discussion panel, how to leverage user psychology for optimizing post-install successes of mobile apps. My name is Olga Morozova. Last week, I bought me yet another dress from Net-a-Porter because Net-a-Porter pushed me notification. Olga, this is your last chance, up to 75% discount. Have they been using and leveraging my psychology? How can we, as app provider, leverage user psychology for customer activation, customer onboarding, customer retention, and customer engagement? These are the questions we are going to answer in our panel today. We have amazing speakers. We have Florian Gleissner, who is a CRM expert from Admiral Media. We have Alena Golden, a CEO of RepTech Studios with more than 20 million downloads. And we have a Senior Vice President of Growth of YouAppi, Programmatic Retargeting DSP. So guys, please introduce yourself.
Okay, I can start. Hi, I'm Florian. I'm formerly was head of CRM at Festic. And now I'm working with the Admiral Media. We are a digital agency, and we help our customers by performance marketing and also by growth and CRM implementation and also execution.
Hello everyone, my name is Alena. I'm a co-founder and CEO of RepTech Studios. So here at RepTech Studios, over the last 5 years, we've built a number of apps in the music tech space. And our flagship app is called RepFame. We allow people to record and produce their songs and become part of the community of hip-hop fans. So to date, we have over 20 million downloads, and I'm happy to be here today and share with you some insights.
Hey everyone, very excited to be here. Thank you for coming. My name is Hilit, Mioduser. I saved you from pronouncing it. I'm with YouAppi for the last 6 years or so, heading the growth globally. And YouAppi, in, I would say, like one sentence, we're a retargeting DSP. Programmatically, we are, I would say, mainly and solely focusing on gaming, skills, social casinos, strategy, RPG. This is definitely our main focus, aside among a few others. And I'm here to talk about growth and user psychology. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. My first question goes to you, Alena. So what are the main activation blockers do you experience at RepFame app, and how do you leverage user psychology for that?
So as you guys probably know, the key activation component is to encourage your user to do target action, to do the aha moment as soon as possible after the download. And obviously for our app, RepFame, where the target action is actually recording a song and publishing it to the community, it's a very complicated and not easy action to do, especially in your first session, because it's a creative process, it takes time. So obviously, we as a company have to remove all obstacles on the path of a user to do this target action. What we've learned over years is that sign up is a really big frustration point for users, especially for Gen Z. Also, our users really do not use emails that much. They mainly use phones, they might not have laptops, it's just all smartphones, all really fast, attention span is very short. So what we've done, we, number one, allow people to use almost all the functionality of the platform without registration. We only require you to register when you're about to do some action which might potentially violate the community rules. For instance, leaving comments or sending private messages. We also now push one-step registration, such as through Apple ID or Gmail straight away, without two-step registration process, which is classic with email. You register with email, you then get your verification link and then activate. Another thing that helped a lot is actually moving the request for push permissions earlier in the funnel. So I know many companies advise to request push permission only later in the funnel when a user is warmed up. However, in our case, we know that you should aim for user to do the target action ASAP, otherwise you lose these Gen Z users who have short attention span. So we have to have tools to re-engage them, and I'm sure you'll tell more about the re-engagement techniques. So yeah, we just moved push permission requests straight to tutorial. And we try to explain in very simple words, this is your benefits you get your notifications about likes and followers, which is easy terminology, everybody knows, it's universal. And we see really good conversions, like we see about 50% opt-in into push permissions.
Thank you very much, Alena. Florian, as a CRM expert, how does a well-designed activation phase look like from your point of view?
Yeah, I think it's really easy to answer. So the goal of an activation phase should be that the users use the app without thinking about using. So they build a new habit and also bring this new habit in their daily routines. The hard thing about that is how to achieve this goal. And yeah, this I can't answer in general, because when I could do that, I would be a very rich person. But I can share you with some learnings that I made. So the first one is reward good behavior. So when the user come into your app, give a nice message, a rewarding text or something nice that he see, okay, now I did something good, I get rewarded out of that. It's like, let's say it's like a dog. When a dog does something good, you give him a goodie and that's fine. And when the user not come into the app, you have to motivate him to come back and also maybe show a little bit more the benefits. Second point would be give the users a reason why to come in the app daily. So you can make gamification, you can combine your activation phase with your introduction phase to say, okay, we make a spotlight every day from our features, something like that. You can be creative here. And also the third one is, take your time. So in my experience, to activate or to build new habits is at least 10 days to make it. So don't stop the activation phase after 2 days and say, okay, now we have activated user. So please give it at least 10 days or maybe also 30 days for the activation phase.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. We also try to develop this habit among our users, and we provide daily rewards. It's very simple. A user gets push notification and is invited to open the app and collect their daily reward. And the more days in a row you do, the higher reward gets. So first day it can be 10, next day 15, etc. So I agree 100%. The key is develop the habit.
Yeah, and maybe just one more thing on the activation. I think that the more the app developers today have a more deep flow and know how to monitor and track and have more engagement signals, not only the very basic ones that we all know, install and registration, etc., but have more signals that will really help to recognize what is that sweet spot where the user left. If we offer a trial, for example, what happened within that, with these 3 to 7 days. Maybe he was using it on the third day, but have not used it on the second day. So the idea is to understand how can we use all engagement in-app events and try to, of course, be personalized with what we go back to make sure that we make them stick and stay.
Now that we have talked about the activation, let us move to re-engagement of users and the importance of leveraging user psychology for retargeting ads. Hilit, I read your YouAppi blog, which is exciting and inspiring. And I read the use case of Leader Feldman, who is a retargeting specialist from Papaya Gaming, a skill-based gaming app. So she's talking a lot about psychology. Would you like to tell the audience more about that?
Yes, for sure. I think that the key really, as I mentioned, we focus a lot on the gaming partners, and one of the good things about working with these partners, they're very advanced with their knowledge, they're very advanced with the data that they collect and share. They understand the key in sharing the data and building the right strategy. And I think that one of the things that I learn from this process is that whenever we as a vendor, we work with the attribution partners, we get the very raw data of the post specs. And whenever you understand that that is very basic and you want to add to that what we call the user psychology, it's a very nice word, but underneath we're using contextual and we're using behavioral and segmentation, the messaging, and understanding what is the seasonality that we want to come back, what's that promo or incentive, and we need to make sure that the partner has the ability to actually build. It's not only on our side, of course, you need to work very close with, for example, it was specifically with that app developer, but to make sure that we work with the studio, we work with the creative team, and have all that combined to the post-spec data. When you have all that combined, you have the ability to go back to the user and have the right message at the right time, and most important, be cost effective. We want to make sure that we pay more for the higher lifetime value, for the ones that have subscribed, and make sure that the other way is also relevant and optimize accordingly. So this was a lot of what we did specifically with Papaya Gaming, trying to combine the behavioral, the contextual, with the very basic deterministic data.
Thank you, Hilit. Perfect. So also one of the very important components is the proper monetization in app. Florian, would you share with us more about the experiences you have made there and how you can increase conversion rate?
Yes, let's talk about money. What I find out also, so my learnings from also with the testing from clients is that the first level of monetization is when you have an offer, always give a reason why. So the users have to see the reason why he gets this offer at this moment. Otherwise, it can be really happen that you destroy your pricing strategy. So a reason why you can use for that some time events, for example, Black Friday, Christmas, Easter offer, something like that. Or you can create your own reason why. You say, okay, here it's the birthday of our company, or you achieved something, here you have an offer for that. This is, I think, the first level, so that you don't send an offer without reason why. And the second level, in my opinion, is that you build a behavior-based offer journey. So because when you send to a user an offer who has had at the moment a really good time with your app, so let's say, for example, it's a health app, and my goal is to lose weight, and then I lose my first 5 pounds, and then I get the offer about 30% off for the next level, then the conversion rate is much, much higher. It's really incredible higher. I tested it because the user see the benefits of your ad, and most important, he feel the benefit of your app. He's really emotional and in a good mood, and so really likely to buy. And what is also important to keep in mind, that you have really of a journey, that you make sure that you're not give on the first day 90% and on the third day 20%, because then users will wait until he gets 90% again. So this must be planned and strategically. And yeah, and then you can really, the best is to mix the offers from a behavior-based offer and also to use then the time-based offers. So when you mix these both components, you will get a nice offer journey with a good conversion rate.
Well, thank you so much for the ideas. I really like the one about the birthday of the company. We should definitely do that as well and send some special offer with a discount on premium. I might add here that what we've learned with our user base is that we can split the user base into two big groups. The first group are freshly registered or users who just downloaded the app, so like new users. And the second group are existing loyal users. And it's very important to offer them different subscription options or different in-app purchases, because new users are more open to trials. They might not be ready to subscribe to monthly subscription or annual. However, what we see that when we offer trial to our existing loyal user base, we actually see worse conversions because, and it's actually sounds simple, but it was nice to see this, that user who is already loyal, they're ready to commit, they're ready to subscribe to annual subscription or monthly.
Hilit, would you like to add more about strategy and on this point? Yeah.
Just I think on more maybe on the A/B testing that was mentioned. I think the more we try to actually come right after these stages, and every app developer does the things in-house, and then they have the retention team. And I think what is really important for an app developer, I would say, is to combine that in addition and do the the testing with the right audiences. And to do that, I think that you need a lot of insights in within the analytics portion of it. So making sure that once you have the right messaging and you come with relevant conclusions, how to implement that and to build that strategy, I think it's definitely super important. And most important is not to only A/B test the messaging, but also A/B test the users. And we'll talk about it in a sec, but I think this is definitely an important point.
And Florian, that's your favorite topic, I know. So could you also bring more light on that from CRM point of view?
Yes. So from the when it goes about A/B testing, I think the important thing is just do it. So a bad A/B testing is better than no A/B testing, in my opinion. But to have a good A/B testing, I think the biggest thing I can share is plan your A/B testing. It's really important for A/B testing to have a good plan, at least for 3 months in the future. Otherwise, it's not good, because when you make success without planning, this is luck. And when you trust on luck, maybe it's not so good. So success is always with a plan. So plan also your A/B testing, and plan it with a really wide open eyes. So let's say, okay, not only write down, okay, this is topic A, this is topic B, and this test we will want to test. So also write down, okay, which KPI you want to have a look on, from which KPI you decide which part is the winner. Also think about it, what other KPIs are influenced by this test. Also write down, okay, which other departments I have to inform about these tests, because maybe they influence the onboarding. Something like that. So make your plan as detailed as you can and as long as you can for the future. So and then you can make sure that you have a consistent and a good and a smart A/B testing process. And the other thing, what I saw, what a lot of my clients do not make wrong, only test one question versus each other. So not testing picture A and copy A versus picture B and copy B, because then you don't know exactly what influenced the changes in the KPIs. So only test picture versus picture or text versus text. And then you can go, in the next A/B test, you can then test the copy or the picture, but always one question in one test.
Do you do A/B testing at RapFame apps?
Yeah, so I completely agree that A/B tests are crucial. In fact, I'm an A/B test ambassador in our company. I know some teammates sometimes are reluctant because obviously it increases the time you spend on development when you implement an A/B test, but it's definitely worth it. However, I think that there are, I've learned it over time, that there are two ways to run an efficient A/B test. So the classic and good A/B test is obviously the example with, okay, this is a picture A and text, and we test it against picture B, same text. This is a classic A/B test. However, unfortunately, in real life, apps are more, sometimes, like for example, our apps are more sophisticated, and we will need to test one onboarding versus another onboarding. It's like supporting two different versions in the same app. It becomes really, really complicated and complex, and in like doubles, triples development time. So what we do, we sometimes just roll out a version B to the 100% of the audience, and then measure performance of user cohort 2 weeks before the rollout, and then 2 weeks after the rollout. And then we basically compare A and B. So it's another version of an A/B test.
Yeah, will just add, because we're more also on the media side, I think it's very important to ask for transparency also on the buying, and making sure that if you are doing the A/B testing, you add to that the transparency of make sure that you have the clean environment, where you're buying, how you're buying. Make sure that the partner that you work with, and it doesn't really matter with whom, but does also the buying in a very clean environment, and there aren't any noises that interfere with that, because there are many. So making sure that you have a clean environment, in my mind, is very important. And as mentioned, also KPIs. I'm a data-driven person, always have clear KPIs. Choose one, and in parallel, make sure that if you do A/B testing, you have room and resources and bandwidth to implement the changes, learn, and move forward. Not just do the A/B testing, and make sure that the partner that you work with understands what are the KPIs and what are you trying to achieve. I think that's also very, very important.
Thank you, Hilit. And before we move to questions from the audience and to wrap up, what would be your final piece of advice about how to leverage user psychology for successes of the app?
I think it is, from my side, it is get to know your user, because you learn a lot from your user, and also the users learn a lot from you. It's education in both sides. So do some surveys, make user interviews, make a lot of A/B tests, and really get to know the user, because then you can make a nice activation phase, you can make a nice retention cycle, you can do behavior-based offers, which are really definitely better in conversion rate. You can do individualization, do all the cool stuff when you get to know your user.
I agree with what you said, 100%. I would only add that do not trust your gut feeling, because many founders and app developers are caught up in this mentality of, I think if our team or if me, if I find it useful or easy to use, it doesn't mean that the users will actually find it useful or will even need it. So 100% agree, talk to users, run interviews, surveys. We definitely do this as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that indeed learning who is the user and understanding that indeed every user is different, having a very clear, I would say, KPI and analysis to know what you're doing is very, very important. I would even say that in a way, when you want to have and do that, you need to invest in learning the user, in the segmentation, in A/B testing, in everything that we just mentioned, and make sure that you have a flow A to Z. That's our 2 cents, but thank you.
Thank you very much for this interesting discussion.
Can I add a last point? So I would like to have a test. Can you please, everybody stand up? Just sure.
Including us?
Perfect. Thank you. You can sit down again. What I want to show and also say, it's how important is psychology. So because I'm a speaker and say, here, please stand up, I bring nearly 100 people to stand up. And when, as a marketer, you also have this power. You reach with your messages, with your apps, with your communication, you reach millions of people, millions of users, and this is a strongly power. So use it in the right way, use the psychology behind it, and yeah, make your visions great.
Thank you.
Are we going to take questions? Any questions? Now, if you could just say, ask questions, and then they can answer, and then we're good. Oh, Tara?
It works.
Okay. My question is to Alena. You mentioned the A/B testing 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after. That scared me a little bit. Can you talk a little bit about it? Because I kind of think the environment isn't going to be exactly the same. So what made you do that? What learnings did you get from it?
You're absolutely right, and that's indeed scary, especially when it comes to crucial parts of the app, such as onboarding or the key component. However, sometimes you have to make like tough decisions, and when it comes to like tripling your development time, you just realize that I can't support 2 versions live. I need to pick one, because otherwise we will spend 4 months on developing it, and it will be perfectly measured, really good data, but unfortunately the market is so quickly, your product might be not relevant anymore. So it's a bit of a balance, but yes, indeed it's super scary, and you need to like look at the situation holistically, see what else could have impacted, such as traffic difference, some other elements of the app change, but yeah, sometimes you have to do that. There is one more person there.
One more, okay. Gotcha. Sorry, the door was like possessed. It was blowing off. Uh-oh. You gotta raise your hand again. There you go. Oh, look at the nice jacket.
Really nice. Loving it. Thanks. I think it was something that Florian was talking about when we talk about activating people and trying to get them to form habits in the first 10 days. How do you balance trying to get people to activate and really annoying them and driving them away from your app in the first place?
That's a really good question. And it's really hard to find really the sweet spot between, okay, I send too much notifications and I send too less and cannot activate the users. What I saw in the test, that when you are not repeating the pushes every day, the users are really likely to have a lot of push, especially in the first days. And for that, you have to test what's the sweet spot, and when you have always new messages and also a good reason why you send these pushes, you can test it also with a lot of pushes. You can start with a lot of and then see how much you can reduce to find your sweet spot.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, quick question from here next to it, and it's also for you, Florian. You mentioned kind of thinking about your testing plan about 3 months kind of in ahead and having that plan for the next 3 months. Could you talk a little bit more about what that looks like? Because it feels like a long time, obviously, in the span of, a test where it might be simple, but I don't want to underestimate it, so.
Yes, I am a good position as an expert with an agency, so I can have it theoretically, I can make it perfect, but in the real practice, it's a little bit hard. So as also Alena said, sometimes you don't have so much time to test something, or spontaneously you have to test something new. So the plan is not, okay, we make a plan and then do not look to the right and to the left. So if spontaneously comes something in, you can definitely work with the plan and also reprioritize this plan. But if you don't have a plan, you have a chaos. With a plan, you can say, okay, I changed the plan. Without a plan, this chaos, what you describe, and also, okay, what should I test? Next week we have to launch this. Then you have this chaos, and you not have also the ideas in some situations. Then you think, okay, now we don't want to test. What should I test? So have a plan, and then you can adjust this plan.
Awesome. One more or no more? I see no hands, so please give a round of applause for our panels.